new seller rank on page 1 for Etsy? Is it even a thing? Can a new seller pop up a shop on Etsy and actually rank on page 1? Well, I'm going to explain not only how you can do it, but why it's possible in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So before I forget, please do not forget to subscribe because this channel is full of amazing tips and tricks from an actual six-figure current Etsy seller, which is something that is really hard to come across right now. And also do not forget to get the free 30 days to a kick butt Etsy shop workbook. This thing is amazing. It's 76 pages worth and it's just been redesigned as well. So definitely worth getting your hands on it here. The link is in the description box below if you want to have a look at that. And also do not forget to join our lovely, wonderful Facebook group where every Friday I go live doing a live workshop in there with you, or perhaps it's just a coffee Q&A. So today we are going to be talking about SEO and how you can actually rank on page 1 as a new seller. A little spoiler alert, it is definitely possible. It's something that I've seen many of my students actually do. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about the Etsy algorithm in like a real brass tacks way, with also some action points that you can do as a new seller to make sure that you are on page 1 or give yourself the best chance to rank on page 1. So SEO, it takes between 60 to 90 days on Etsy for your listings and your shop, if it's a new shop, to be crawled by the little Etsy bots and ranked in the appropriate page on Etsy. So first of all, if you are, on Etsy for like 2-3 weeks, or you have changed your SEO and you're wondering why on earth nothing is working, and you're changing it every month or so because you're not seeing any results, what you're actually doing is completely restarting the process again. So definitely tip number 1 is do not go into your shop every month, every 2 months, even every 3 months and change your listing SEO. My biggest piece of advice here would be to make sure that you get this right straight off the bat when you list your Etsy items. So make sure you do the appropriate keyword research and just basically make sure that there is nothing that you want to change. Make sure that you don't just rush to list Etsy items up. Please, please, please make sure to do your due diligence before you list it up. I'm interrupting my very own video to bring to you the news that there is a brand spanking new webinar. This webinar is called How to Increase Your Etsy Conversion Rate. It is literally the most helpful webinar training I have ever created. So it is completely free. If you go in the link in the description box below, you can secure your place in this live training webinar. I cannot wait to see you in there, and let's get back to the video. So when it actually comes to Etsy SEO, the very first thing that actually happens is something called query matching. So when your customer goes in that little search box and types in silver elephant earrings, for example, Etsy will, in a matter of milliseconds, crawl every single listing on Etsy, which is why this process takes a long time, between 60 to 90 days. It literally crawls every single listing on freaking Etsy, which is a lot, okay? This process is a big process. And it will go through and it will take exact match keyword phrases, which is why long tail keyword phrases are a really important thing. I did do a video about that, long tail keyword phrases, so definitely search on my channel for that because you need to know what they are if you want to do this, if you want to rank on page 1. What that will essentially do is bring back every single listing on Etsy that matches that query, whether it's silver elephant earrings exactly, or whether it is just silver earrings elephant in there somewhere. So what that does is it brings back a massive great list of all the listings that have those keywords on Etsy. The next thing that actually happens is called ranking, okay? So we have all of the Etsy listings that the silver elephant earrings query actually matches, so they're all here, right? But there's like 100,000 of them. How on earth do we sort them in a fair way that makes sure that not only shops that have really wonderful listings are going to get pushed to the front, but also at the end of the day, Etsy wants to keep their customers, your customers, on the platform. So what they actually do is they do a lot of different things when it comes to ranking to make sure that the listings that are going to get the biggest chance of being purchased by your customer that's popped in that search of silver elephant earrings is going to purchase. So I'm just going to run through some of the really, really important ranking features that you need to know about and how you can leverage it for your new Etsy shop so that on Etsy you can get ranked on page 1. Now, the biggest thing here is relevancy, and what that actually means is how close your titles and your tags match what that customer has typed in on Etsy. Now, don't get me wrong, this is something that you have to make sure to write your tags and your titles and even your descriptions, although they're not ranked on Etsy. Now, I am aware that Google also does read these, but at the end of the day, you are selling on Etsy. You are wanting success on Etsy. So do please to make sure that if you see any blog posts or videos or whatever saying to try and rank for both, I personally wouldn't do that, because what you're doing, there is actually conflicting information. Google wants one thing and Etsy wants another. And if you're trying to do both, it's not going to work. This is more of an advanced strategy. That is something we do in the course. You know, we're not going to be doing that today. But what I want you essentially to do is to make sure that if there is an important long tail keyword, so you've done your keyword research, you've gone onto a Google Keyword Planner, you've gone onto the Etsy search bar, you're on Marmalade or eRank or whatever it is, you have done your keyword research. And let's just say that silver elephant earrings is the long tail phrase that you know will bring your target market into your listing. So I hope that makes sense. So exact matches, first of all, always rank first, okay? So exact matches always work better. So that's essentially what you want to do, is that you want to make sure that if it is a phrase that you really know that your customer is going to be using and that is going to be bringing in the right target market to your listings and to your shop, you need to essentially front load that in your Etsy title and your Etsy tags. And what front loading means is basically put the most important keywords at the beginning of the title. So I do hope that makes sense. Basically, what you want to do is always use exact matches. Now, I do understand that to a certain degree, this is going to mean going against Etsy's advice of not essentially keyword stuffing your titles. Now, they did say this about, I want to say 18 months to 2 years ago. And what everyone did is that everyone changed their titles to shorter titles. In my thinking is that I've also tested this on my shop, and it's a definite thing, right? Is that if Etsy gives you all of that space to use for SEO purposes in your titles and certainly in your tags, why the heck would you not use it? So although your titles may look a little bit keyword stuffed, you know, let's say that you want to rank for silver elephant earrings, elephant gift for her, let's just say, it may look a little bit keyword stuffed, and that's okay. I have personally tested this in my shop, and the shorter titles do so much worse than the longer titles. As of recording this, that is what is working on Etsy right now. So don't worry if it ends up looking like silver elephant earrings, comma, elephant gift for her, comma, boho jewelry piece, whatever. Just make sure that you are front loading those long tail keyword phrases with the exact match that is working for you, because in query matching, that is actually something that is going to help you. So always use exact matches. So the very next thing that you need to know is the listing quality score. So after you have been query matched and then the ranking starts, so we've just talked about relevancy, okay? The very next thing that happens is something called quality score, okay? So every single listing on Etsy eventually has a quality score. And essentially what that is your conversion rate, okay? So don't ever be confused. Quality score is basically conversion rate. Etsy only wants to show listings high up on page 1, 2, 3 even that are proven to convert customers, because at the end of the day, Etsy is a business. As long as you know you are on there, Etsy is a business. Etsy wants to bring you customers, but also they want to get their fees as well from you, the shop. So it's in their best interest to make sure that listings that do convert well are shown on page 1, not on page 285. So what this means for you is that when you make a listing on Etsy, you need to make sure that this listing converts really, really well. So to basically get this working for you, you need to make sure that your listing converts well. And I won't be going too far into that because I do dive really deep into it in that free training. But what I would say is to make sure that your listing is accurate. So let's say that you are selling a thimble, don't put 10 of them in the main listing image, because that is really kind of, it doesn't explain what it actually is. There are a lot of different factors that will influence your conversion rate, but basically you need to know who your target market is, and your listing needs to portray it solving that pain point for the customer, which is the whole reason why they're coming shopping on Etsy in the first place. But basically you need to make sure that your listing conversion rate stays high in order for this quality score, your listing quality score, to be high, which then triggers the algorithm in your favor, which then shows your listing quite high up. And this is why sometimes shops with really bad SEO do really, really well, because actually they've got their own social media traffic that they've driven to drive this up. So I have done a video on why shops with bad SEO do get sales on my channel as well, so that's worth a watch. But this is something I think this is one of the most important factors that you need to know about when it comes to ranking on page 1 on Etsy. The next thing I'm going to talk about is customer score. Now, this is basically very customer service based, okay? So essentially what happens here is that if you've got a shop that has a lot of cases, a lot of really late unshipped orders where you haven't changed the shipping date and you haven't basically let the customers know, it's basically going to affect your customer score. So although Etsy wants to push these listings that do sell really, really well, they have a really, really high conversion rate, what they don't want to do is do that with a shop that's not going to ship their item on time, or that is going to get a lot of cases or what have you. So reviews, cases, and late unshipped orders, and this doesn't include where you've changed the dispatch date, those 3 things are going to negatively impact your shop. So if you've got a shop that's got a 2.5 star rating versus a shop that's got a 5-star rating, even though their SEO might quote unquote be better, this shop is going to rank slightly higher than this shop purely because of their customer score. And when you think about it, it does make sense that Etsy only really wants to push shops that are going to do what they say they're going to do and get people's orders out on time, make sure that they, those items are described. You have to kind of think of it from Etsy's point of view, that Etsy is a platform, right? They don't know physically what their sellers are selling, right? So they need to make sure that the items are, pleasing the customer. They're bringing the people back to the platform, back to Etsy, back to buy again, and therefore back to your shop to buy again. So it is in everyone's best interest, essentially, to have a really, really good customer score, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So there's 2 more things that I want to talk about in this video. Is recency is the first one, okay? So recency is how active you are in your Etsy shop and how recent a listing actually is. When you list a listing on Etsy, it does get a boost so that it essentially gives the listing that chance for customers to interact with it. Because what would happen otherwise is that listings would be listed and it might go to like page 18, okay? And what happens is that customers don't get a chance to see that listing, because let's be honest, who goes past page 5 or 6 if they're doing a search? By that time, they've gone back to the search bar and changed their search up a little bit. So what this does is it does give you a small temporary boost. Now, we don't know how long that boost is. It can be anything from a few hours to like a day or 2. And then what happens after those few hours or a couple of days is that it will then kind of zoom back to the actual spot on the search algorithm, the search results, where it kind of needs to sit, or where your listing essentially deserves to sit, okay? So recency is a really important thing. Now, renewed listings do get a small temporary boost, but I wouldn't use renewing anymore as a strategy. It used to work in like 2015. It does not work anymore. Actually, constantly renewing your listings actually damages your shop, so definitely do not do that. But how you can do this, how you can trigger the recency aspect of the algorithm, is to make sure that you are in your shop, you are active. And what I actually teach in the 30 Days to a Kick Butt Etsy Shop workbook, which is here, is that essentially you have to make sure to launch your shop with about 30 listings in your draft section and publish one every day or every other day. And that really makes Etsy stand up and look at this shop and say, huh, okay, this shop is serious. They are listing a lot of listings. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to like make 30 new products. That's not what I'm saying. The whole thing, the whole strategy will be explained in the free workbook. So definitely go and get that. I'm not going to be going into it in this video, but that is why I recommend doing that. So recency is definitely a big factor. The next thing I'm going to say is that shipping price does play a big part. And I'm not going to be going into all of the, all of the factors that influence SEO, because a lot of them are beyond your control, such as geographical location, languages, and things like that. But shipping price, if you have free shipping on your items, now I'm not saying to actually ship the item for free, put the shipping price onto your item price. You're not losing anything. You're just literally taking it from here and whacking it in the actual item price, right? That is why I recommend to do that, because it is shown, it is a psychological fact that when people go onto a listing and they see free shipping, they mentally don't have to add on another price and there's not another block for them to purchase from you. Now, I'm not saying do it with international orders. There is the US free shipping guarantee, which is something I would recommend you do if you can, because in the USA search results, it does ensure that you are boosted versus other shops that can't do that. So if you have small items that you can absolutely do that, I recommend you do. But essentially, if you want to do the free shipping thing, it does give you a small boost in the search, because again, with the same with conversion rate, listings that have free shipping are more likely to convert, and that is proven. They are more likely to convert if they don't have a shipping price tagged onto the end, which then becomes a massive turn off for the buyer. So guys, I do hope that video helped you. I do hope it kind of made you think about a load of things that will make you, make your new shop, give it the best chance to rank on page 1 on Etsy. These are all things that I do teach in the Handmade Bosses Success Academy, and a lot more as well. This is just the tip of the iceberg. But if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That helps me out a lot. Don't forget to also check back, because I do weekly videos with Etsy tips and tricks just like this one. And guys, I shall catch you in the next video. Bye everyone.